What's good, homies? What's good? What's good? It's your man King Ray Ray, right back in the thing again, man. I appreciate y'all being in the joint. Of course, y'all, man, y'all can see, man, we got the Spider-Man's on today. I wear my sunglasses at night so I can see what I'm seeing and not be blinded by the thing they're trying to blind me, man. I appreciate y'all being in the joint, man. Look, if you want to be a part of this live chat, go to the main channel page next to the subscribe button. You'll see a join button. Click that join button. It'll take you to the kiosk to become a member. Go ahead, join. Come on back out in here with the live chat with us, man. We'll be here. We're gonna be here for a minute. We're gonna get right in it. I appreciate y'all being in the joint, man. GLG, I see you, man. What's good, man? What's good? What's good? The Money Boys in the building, man. Good to see you in the building, man. My brother GC, Golden Child, I see you, man. Good to see you in the joint as well, man. I appreciate you being in the joint, man. As usual, representing that L to the G. Royalty, what's good, home? I see you in the building, man. What's good with you? Keep it retro. What up, man? What up? What up? I see Uncommon in the building, man. I see Consantu in the building, man. I see Chase in the building. What up with you, man? Codeine, what up, bro? Uncommon, what up, what up? The Mr. J, what's good with you? Sean Delight. King Ty, what up, what up? AC. All right, let's go ahead and get ready to do this, man. Let's get the people, man, maybe about 45 more seconds to get in here. And we about to go ahead and get it in, man. Today's topic, as you can see, is how to separate yourself from the world to embrace the ways of God on the vow of a Nazarite. Y'all been requesting it. I said today we're going to come in here and talk about it. You understand? We're going to bless the Sabbath day talking about the vow of Nazarite. Because to be honest with you, man, I'm about to slide back on it again. I'm about to slide back onto it just to get back into it. It's not something you can only do once. You can do it whenever you feel like you need that refresher to reconnect with God, man. And it's been a minute since I've been on one, man. It's been years since I took a vow of Nazarite, man. So I'm starting off 2024 strong, man. Vow of Nazarite, man. Here we come. We're going to slide on into it, man. And, we're going to we're gonna stay on it, man, until we, until we get that thing in our spirit that we need in there, man. It's like a refresher course, man. You got to get a refresher course from time to time, man. You gotta retouch, man. You gotta recalibrate. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm on a spiritual recalibration mission right now, man. Famo, salute, salute. D Flames in the building, man. Salute to you. Let me put the tip in, man. Let's go over here, man. Let's go ahead and do what we got to do in this thing, man. Again, if you want to be a member of the live chat, go ahead to the main channel page, King Ray Ray Show. Next to the subscribe button, you'll see a join button. Go ahead and click that join button. Come on back over here and join us, man, when you become a member. Let's get into this thing, man. How to separate yourself from the world to embrace the ways of God on the vow of Nazarite. Now, why would you need to separate yourself? Because if you have been in the world your entire life, you need to separate from that. All of the things that you are doing that are ungodly, all of the people you are around who are ungodly, all of the environments you are in that are ungodly. You have to separate yourself from those things, because one thing you have to remember, if you are in a foul environment, the Most High will not come through there. When the children of Israel were out in the wilderness, he told them, in this camp, even though you ain't got no crib, you live in the wilderness, when you have to relieve yourself, you go outside the camp and dig a hole and you put it in there so you won't defile the camp, because I ain't coming in there. So when people be telling my man, like if you in the bathroom, man, you can't sit on the toilet, man, while you're handling your business, man, and talk to God. He ain't listening. How dare you? Cleanliness is next to godliness, man. You've heard it before. So you can't. And I heard someone tell me, and this is the confusion. People say God will not come to you until you're in a place of peace. That's not true. God will not guide you until you're in a place of peace. But he will come to you and pull you out of the turmoil, tell you to come this way, and I will take you where you need to be. I will show you what you need to see. We will do the things that need to be done. But first of all, I need you to get yourself out of that environment. I need you to remove yourself from that environment. And many times we won't remove ourselves. And so when we don't remove ourselves, you know what God does? He keeps it moving. He moves on to the next. He's not going to beg you to remove yourself from the environment that you're in. So yes, he will come to you. Let me tell you, man, this is how God came to me, man. I was hustling. getting money, destroying my community, just like the average cat in the hood, poisoning my people. And on Saturdays, while we ripping up and down the boulevard, man, doing what we do, man, making moves, making runs, man, getting to it, they used to always post up during the warm months in this parking lot. And it was all over the city, but on my side of town, it was a particular parking lot. Actually, right in front of a pawn shop. You know how the hood is, pawn shops and liquor stores. And we would stop, get a rib sandwich, pork rib now. So I stopped, get the rib sandwich, and this was many moons ago, man. This was, man, we talking about a couple over a couple decades ago. So we ride, man, and so we grab the pork sandwich, did it all the time because we were on the go. We ain't had time to really stop in no restaurant. We planned the time that we were all gonna get together, man, and go pile up in the restaurant, man, jank at the waitresses, man, and see what we can catch while we was in there balling. But so we fall through on one of my other partners. I had no idea of his upbringing spiritually or anything. Because he wasn't really my partner. He was my partner. You understand what I'm saying? We just knew each other through our affiliation with my partner, right? So we fall through. He said, man, what's that you eating, man? I said, man, it's ribs, man. He said, man, you ain't supposed to eat swine. I said, oh, this ain't swine, it's pork. That's how green I was. This ain't swine, it's pork. He said, man, pork is swine. And I thought about it, I said, man, you know what? Yeah, Muslims do say that. Then I said, well, I ain't Muslim. He said, man, you ain't got to be Muslim. You ain't got to be Islam or none of that, man. Say that in the Bible. I hadn't ever seen it. Because when you're growing up in the church, they don't show you the Old Testament. They show you the New Testament. They tell you don't worry about the laws in the Old Testament, just keep it moving. Well, that ain't what God had planned for my life. You understand what I'm saying? I come from a long line of priests, great-granddaddy, granddaddy, dad. I come from a long line. So that's my lineage. Tribe of Levi. So West Indian heritage, baby. So that night, God came to me and he said, listen, I want you to open this book and I want you to read it cover to cover. And I want you to apply all of my laws to your life. And as I read through, I knew I stopped eating swine. That was my last day eating swine. And I read through Genesis, the story of creation, how Adam, the first simp, I read through that, got into Exodus, got into that, Moses, I got into that, you know what I'm saying? The name Jehovah, I got into that. Then I got into Leviticus. That is where I came across the tattoos and all that. Fortunately, I didn't have any tattoos, so I read about the tattoos. I read about all of these things. Then I slid my way into Numbers. And when I got to chapter 6 in Numbers, and I read, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when either a man or a woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite, to separate themselves unto the Lord, he shall separate himself from wine and strong drink, and shall drink no vinegar of wine or vinegar of strong drink, neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat moist grapes or dried. All the days of his separation shall he eat nothing that is made of the vine tree, from the kernels even to the husk. So I want you to think about that. Kernels, that eliminates corn, that eliminates grapes, that eliminates olives, that eliminates everything that liquor is made from, right? Because you need to have a level head. Consuming alcohol is not godly. Am I saying that you're going to be punished for it? If you overindulge, yes, you're going to punish yourself pretty much, but it's not a godly thing. This is how you begin to separate the true men of God from the men who just know God and know the law. The true men of God feel convicted in their spirits when they do certain things. So from that point, everything started to change. Doing those little things, it didn't take long at all. And me, on top of that, I had already read where when God brought the children of Israel out of Egypt, that he didn't give them meat. He fed them manna, which is like a sweet wafer that he fed them until they cried for meat. So I took it an extra step further. And when I was on the vow of Nazarite, I didn't eat meat either. So I didn't eat anything from the husk to the kernel, none of those things that cause liquor, that liquor is made from. And I also didn't eat meat. But that was just a choice of mine. That was just me showing God that I was for real about this. Now, here's the part that's going to get you stuck. That's the easy part. All the day, chapter verse 5. All the days of the vow of his separation, there shall no razor come upon his head until the days be fulfilled in which he separated himself unto the Lord. He shall be holy and shall let the locks of the hair of his head grow. Let me tell y'all something. That is where you have to make a decision. See, this ain't going to be an easy thing. In order for you to take the vow of Nazarite, you got to separate yourself from the world, which means you might have to leave your job. I'm not telling you to leave your job, but I'm telling you to do this thing right. Your job may not let you not ever let a razor touch your head. That means you can't even get lined up. A razor doesn't touch your head at all. I did this. Fortunately, I had a little money saved up, and I was able to maneuver around a little bit, man. Listen, when I took the vow of Nazarite, my dad lived, man, probably an hour from me. I moved to my dad's crib and did the vow of Nazarite in my dad's crib. I moved so far, my homies didn't even know where I was. Like, I just unplugged. When I got to this, the next day, I unplugged. I left everything cold turkey. Anybody whose plug I was, I ain't let them know nothing. I just dipped. I just bounced. Because by this point, by the time I got here, I was already in deep. You know what I mean? Once I read past the children of Israel and how and all of these things, man, and I read, man, listen, bro, it was a different thing because I understood who I was at this point. I understood at this point that these laws were still made for the same Israelites who came out of Egypt, the same Israelites who descended from, from Abraham, from Joseph. You know what I mean? So once I decided to do this, I knew that I had to be in a position where I couldn't even go to, a regular job. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, I wanted to do something, but I just got, something that wouldn't care about how my hair was. You know what I'm saying? I actually did, during that time, I actually unplugged. I actually did sanitation, man, at like a food processing plant. So I just did from 11 to 7, got to have your head covered anyway, the rain suit, all that. That's the only thing I could plug into. So I did that. And even with that, they knew Sabbath day, bam, I couldn't go up. But that was later on. So now this is another one. And I actually lost a loved one during this time. Verse 6, all the days that he separated himself unto the Lord, he shall come at no dead body. He shall not make himself unclean for his father or for his mother or for his brother or for his sister when they die, because the consecration of his God is upon his head. All the days of his separation, he is holy unto the Lord. I lost loved ones during that time. Didn't see me at nobody's funeral. Didn't see me at nobody's wake. Didn't see me viewing nobody's body. You understand? I was on listen, fortunately, I didn't lose like my mom or my dad or my brother or anything like that. But even if I had, I wasn't going. My mind was made up. At this point, my mind was made up. I was ready to accept my calling. I was ready to accept the position that God put me in. I was ready to accept the position that God wanted me to be in. And so I did it. You understand? Yeah, did people, but this is the thing about separating yourself unto the ways of God. You become stronger spiritually. By the time I got to this point, I was already strong spiritually, stronger than I had ever been. So I didn't care what people said. Yeah, people are, man, he won't even come see his family, man. What kind of person, man, blah, 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 come see his family. And let me tell you something, man. After stop eating all of that, and here's the crazy part. I actually ended up fasting most of the time. This is the first time I did intermittent fasting as well, because, when I was at, and also, I had just registered for school too, but I was having some trouble getting in. Some transcripts weren't being transferred. I was having trouble getting in because so after the vow of Nazarite, I had to go to college until I was 25, but I went after the vow of Nazarite, right? So I wouldn't go around them. And if any man died very suddenly by him, and he had defiled the head of his consecration, then he shall shave his head in the day of his cleansing. On the 7th day shall he shave it, and on the 8th day he shall bring 2 turtle doves, 2 young pigeons to the priest. Of course, now people may say, "Well, you ain't do that part." Well, let me tell you what God told me. He told me, "Go in here and do the part you can. Take the vow. I'm not requesting the sacrifices from you and all of those things." You understand what I'm saying? God don't accept our sacrifices now anyway. He's too mad at the children of Israel. So by this point, by the time I did it, I couldn't do that anyway. So I wasn't going to, man, you ain't do the vow to Nazarite. Well, God said I did. That's why I don't listen to people when they come to my relationship with God. I know my relationship with God. I know the things I do. I know the things that I've done. I know the things that I've said. And I know the connection that I have to the Most High. And so you or any other man or any other woman can't tell me nothing about what I'm saying, about what I'm experiencing, especially if you've never taken the vow to Nazarite. I don't even listen to people. If you want to talk to me about God and godliness and righteousness, if you can't tell me you took the vow to Nazarite, I'm turning a deaf ear to you because you don't know God. You understand? To know God the way you need to know him, you must take the vow to Nazarite. You can't. Your knowledge of God is limited. You understand? Your knowledge of the word of God may be phenomenal. You may be able to quote the Bible from back to back. You may not ever even have to look. Know every verse, every chapter, every page. You may be able to tell me with your eyes closed what page my Bible say this on. That's cool. But you don't know God. See, when we're talking about God, we're not talking about the word of God. We're talking about having a one-on-one relationship. We're talking about having a spiritual connection to the Most High. Now here we go. And this is the law of the Nazarite. When the days of his separation are fulfilled, he shall be brought unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. He shall offer his offering for the blah, blah. You know, I didn't do that. Basket unleavened bread. I did basket unleavened bread, if I recall correctly. I know I ain't do the offerings, but, and he shall blah, blah, blah. And he shall, and the unleavened cake and all of that and all of those things. I lived in a modern time, man. It wasn't nowhere for me to get all this. Now, and here's what I had to do as well. I had to shave my head. And instead of burning a sacrifice, when I shaved my head, because at the end of the joint, when your days are fulfilled, now, when a dead body fall by you, it ends by no fault of yours. But when you read that chapter 9, if any man die suddenly by him, then he shall shave his head in the day of his cleansing. On the 7th day shall he shave it. So what I did is I shaved my head, and since I didn't have those things to sacrifice, I burnt the hair once I shaved it. And listen, man, it was such a big, it was dread. I'm talking about Bob Marley dreads, man. So I didn't let a razor come on my head or my face, because my face is on my head and I ain't want to take no chances. So I didn't shave, or I'm talking about, man, I think I was on the vow to Nazarite for like 18 months, maybe 19 months. Didn't get a haircut, didn't get a shave, but boy, was I lean. I'm talking about, boy, I was so very lean. I wasn't even lean, I was skinny. So, of course, I didn't offer the lamb. I didn't offer the ram. Now, 18, and the Nazarite shall shave the head of his separation at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall take the hair of the head of his separation and put it in the fire, which is under the sacrifice of the peace offerings. I didn't have no peace offering, but I did have some fire. And you know what I did? I put my hair in the fire. You see what I'm saying? You do what you can do, and God gonna do the rest. I did my best. I ain't have no priest to go to, and no feast. Now I ain't have none of that. So I just shaved the hair and I burned the hair. Now, you may ask, why did I do this? It's a very simple reason. I did it because God told me to do it. You understand? I did it because he told me to do it. I was built for this. I was built for this. I'm one of the few guys from the hood, from a hood environment, who has no tattoos. Not one. Never had one. Never even had a desire for one. Didn't even think about it. Never even, not even one small inkling. Listen, don't even know what I would get as a tattoo. So I have no idea. Also, the abominable meats, all the seafoods. Tried them once when I was 12. Once. Each one. When I was 12 years old, I tried catfish, shrimp, lobster, crab legs, oysters. Um, if there's anything else, tried it too. And you know what? Every single time I was sick for days. It wasn't even the type of sick where I was in bed. I just couldn't eat. Every time I thought about food, that seawater taste would come in my mouth and I start getting nauseous like I was about to, I couldn't eat, man. So every time it was days. So about 30 days out of my summer, I couldn't eat because I was around people. I was in a home. Now, this is when I was 12. I was in a home where people were eating this type of stuff all the time. And so I was a kid. Either I'm going to eat it or I ain't going to eat nothing. And every time I tried it, so I never tried those things again in my entire life. I never even attempted to try them. I never desired them. Every time I thought about them, I thought about, I mean, I'm not finna be sick. So when we talk about who's put in a position and who's going to do things, man, let me tell y'all something right now. Have I always been absolutely on my mission the way I need to? Nah, man. Even with this channel, y'all see how I've been slipping on this channel, man. This is what I need to be doing. This is what I should have been doing. But I got caught up in the numbers on the other channel. I got caught up in the numbers. I got caught up in in getting to the paper. I got caught up in just the reach and the notoriety and the finances of it. I got caught up in all of those things, man, and I just neglected doing this thing right here that I'm supposed to be doing. Listen, man, this channel ain't huge. We're closing in on 20,000 subscribers, but that's a mega church. You understand what I'm saying? If I get a building and put 20,000 people in it just one day a week on Sunday, I got a mega church. So right here, man, this is my mega church. The King Ray Ray Show. This is my mega church. And so when you think about it, man, if you are a man who has been called to God, find out what your mission is for God. If you if and some of you have had these experiences. Brown Horn in 1975. You know, he doesn't eat those either. Famo, I know Famo don't eat those things. D. Flemings don't eat these things. You got to understand, man, that when you dedicate your life to God, that's why you separate yourself from the world so you don't have the world pulling at you. See, I didn't have the world pulling at me. All my old hunts, all my old homies, everything I was doing was a long way away. And nobody even knew where I was to find me. The only person who knew where I was, was the same partner I had who told me in the first place, you're not supposed to eat swine. That's the only person who knew. Because we embarked on this journey at the same time. You know what I'm saying? We actually had another partner who embarked on it at the same time. Actually, all three of us guys embarked on it at the same time. My partner who was with me eating the pork and my partner who told us, hey, man, you're not supposed to eat swine. We all embarked upon this journey at the same time. But my other partner who was eating the swine with me, he separated himself and went the other direction. You know what I'm saying? He put himself off in a space somewhere. And I'm going to tell y'all, man, it's a tough road to come out of that and not be the same and try to implement yourself back into the same world. You don't fit into that world anymore. So after this vow, I went to school. I went to college, man. I jumped off in there, man. And listen, man, let me tell you something. The energy that was on me, man, I mean, it was irresistible. It was irresistible. Like everybody just wanted to be around it. They didn't even know why. You understand? That's when I first developed. Now listen, I've had some beautiful girls all my life. Like I've had some stunners. You know what I'm saying? I've had some stunners. I ain't saying all of them been stunners now. I had a butterface in there. I threw a butterface in there too, especially in younger. But man, I had some stunners. But I never saw what the energy was. That's why I tell you there's no alpha without the most high. I never saw what the alpha energy was until I came off the vow to Nazarite and hit that college campus. Boy, let me tell you something. Freshmen, sophomores, juniors, guidance counselors, the dean daughter, you know, the professors, the coaches, man, let me tell you something, bro. I lit the campus on fire. I'm talking about it was not lit, bruh. When I tell you, man, there was not a woman on campus, man, who didn't move a certain way, man, just from me walking through. Because you got to understand, I come from a position where I'm getting money. These college kids, the majority of the people on this campus, I look at them as kids. You know, they 18 to 20. I mean, I won't be 25, but they 18 to 22. So and they haven't lived the life I live. They've been at home with their mom and dad all the time. I've been out there getting it. And I've been living, learning. And man, boy, when I tell you, man, it was a totally different thing because I hit the campus, man. I was suited and booted. You know what I'm saying? I was coming up through that thing, man. I was suited and booted. Because I started in winter semester. So I started in like January. Man, when I jumped off in that thing, man, listen, boy, I'm talking about suits, trench coats, gaiters, you know what I'm saying? Walking to class with a briefcase, man. Well, I was killing it, killing the game, bro. And that's when I first realized, oh, this is different. It's almost like superstar energy. It's like, I don't know who this guy is, but he's got to be a star. And that's when I realized, man, that there's no alpha without the most high, bro. It came to me, and once it came to me, I I never wanted it to leave. And so I stay tight with the most high. You understand? Have I strayed away sometime? Yeah, man. It was new to me. I'm not gonna sit and tell you, man, that I've been on a perfect straight and narrow path. Nope. I've strayed. I've done think I'm still human. But I know as I read all the way through. Now I didn't stop at the vow of Nazareth. I read all the way through. And so as I started to apply more things to my life, man, and I realized that all of the things that I had done, you know what I'm saying? Numbers chapter 20, verse 9. For everyone that curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. He hath cursed his father or mother, his blood shall be upon him. And the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. And the man that lieth with his father's wife, that hath uncovered his father's nakedness, both of them shall surely be put to death. And if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion, their blood shall be upon them. And if a man also lie with mankind as he lied with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination, they shall surely be put to death, their blood shall be upon them. And if a man take a wife and her mother, it is wickedness, they shall be burned with fire, both he and they, that there be no wickedness among you. And if a man lie with a beast, he surely shall be put to death, he shall slay the beast, and ye shall slay the beast. And if a woman approacheth to any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast, they shall surely be put to death, their blood shall be upon them. And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and see her nakedness, and she see his, it is a wicked thing, and they shall be cut off in the sight of their people. He hath uncovered his sister's nakedness, he shall bear his iniquity. And if a man shall lie with a woman, having her sickness, and shall uncover her nakedness, he hath discovered her fountain, and she hath uncovered the fountain of her blood, and both of them shall be cut off from their people. And thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, nor thy father's sister, for he hath uncovered his near kin, they shall bear their iniquity. And if a man shall lie with his uncle's wife, he hath uncovered his uncle's nakedness. They shall bear their sin, they shall die childless. And if a man shall take his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing. He hath uncovered his brother's nakedness, they shall be childless. And ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. But I have said unto you, ye shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God, which have separated you from other people. You see, the separation didn't start as an individual. The separation started when the God chose the Israelites to be his chosen people. So people want to act like, no, we're all Israelites. There ain't no chosen people. Hey, man, I ain't trying to hear that. There is chosen people. And I'm blessed enough to be born a member of one of the tribes. I'm blessed enough. And I'm cool with that. I don't have a problem with it. Listen, man, hey, if you weren't, that's on you. But I was. So I want y'all to understand, man, that that's a lot of things to uncover. And I read all of those because I was in an environment where I saw all of these things take place. You understand? One of them I indulged in myself. Hey, man, listen, I've committed adultery with a man's wife before. But it just goes to, it went to show me how much I didn't know, how much I thought I knew, how tight I thought I was with God, how much I thought I was right, how much, man, I didn't know nothing. Just the amount of things I ran down to you right there. Put a one in the chat if you've ever been around a situation where you saw one of those things happen. Put a one in the chat if you're in an environment right now where you saw these type of things happen. It's a different ball game out here, man. Stanton Howard, appreciate the dime. God gave us the best gift he could have given us, free will, which is the ability to build an individual relationship with him and each other. Man, that's it. Free will is the most phenomenal thing, man. No pressure on you to do anything. You do it by choice, not by force. It's a phenomenal thing. Yeah, man, no doubt, famo. My vibration was so low during that time, man. I mean, man, I was, as I started to read, man, I got to verses like, when a man ways pleaseth God, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. And I realized that people that I was beefing with, when I finally showed my head back in my area, man, I was totally off the boo boo. You know what I'm saying? I didn't live in the area, but I would still go through. I still had some partners over there, man. I ain't just, I still had some partners over there, some business partners too, some guys that, they were doing legitimate business. So man, I fall through, man. The guys would see me, man, and they just could not believe the glow, man. The glow, you could tell. It's almost like I had been to another planet and came back, man, with some different energy on me. You know what I mean? And guys, man, that I had, I'm talking about, man, had threw a lot of iron at and got a lot of iron thrown back at me. No beef, no problem. You know what I'm saying? Still not homies, but no static. Because when God is in control, I tell people that all the time. It don't matter what you think. It don't matter what you think can happen. It don't matter what you want to happen. God is in control. Whatever happens, it's going to happen because the Most High sets his hand on it and he's going to let it happen. So when I saw that even my enemies were at peace with me, because I'm going to be honest with you, bro, at that point, I'm not going to say I was invincible, but I was above being affected by humans in a negative way. I was above that. I was in a peace of mind realm. That's what happened when I came out of Val de Nazareth, man. I was in a peace of mind realm where I was above the reproach of humans. I was strictly assigned to the reproach of God. The only one who could chastise me or check me about anything was the Most High, because I was above the chastisement of humans. I was above it. Now, coming out of that thing, man, I had a charge I was looking at, and they jammed me up. I told y'all about the story, man, where they had already jammed me up, so I was already looking at that charge. My lawyer kept pushing it back, pushing it back. What lawyers do, so they can, keep getting money from you or whatever. And I wasn't really concerned about it, man, because that lawyer, he's been in my family, man, since my dad was a teenager, man. So he OG. Cat's still alive now, man. I outlived my dad, my grandma, a couple of my auntie, Joker, man, probably about 90 years old, man, still riding in a convertible with a bad young tender about 39. So when I say this, man, I I had already got jammed up, so I was already looking at one. You know what I'm saying? And I almost got jammed up again when I was in the back of the squad car and they had them 9 things back there, and I just started praying. You know what I'm saying? I started praying, man. And this was before I took the vow to Nazarite. When I started praying, man, that's when the first time I connected with God. So when that happened, when I prayed my way out of the back of that car, that was God. I got shredded all the way down to the godly man I was supposed to be in the back of that squad car. Prayed my way out of the back of that car. And so when my homie reached out, when my homie let me know about the swine, I automatically just went. I was already ready for it. I just didn't know the next step to take. I didn't know about the Old Testament. I didn't know about the laws of God. I didn't know nothing about not eating pork. I ain't know nothing about none of that. So when I saw that, you know how it is. If somebody show you something like that, when he showed me that, I was curious. I wanted to read some more. I read the whole book of Deuteronomy, man, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And after I read it, once God saw that I was going to do what I was supposed to do, the connection from being in the back of that squad car to right there, hey, man, you shouldn't eat pork, hey, it's right here in this book, and then say, bam. He knew that he could come to me and say, okay, I want you to open it and read it now. I showed him I was prepared when, when I flocked to it like a fish flocked to water, man. And that was it. That was the beginning of it, man. And as I was reading, man, it said, you shall not oppress the poor need of your people. Because here's the thing, I was still going. I hadn't come to that yet. That's like in Deuteronomy. I hadn't come to you shouldn't make money by oppressing the poor need of your people yet. So I was on the vow to Nazarite. When I took the vow to Nazarite, of course, Book of Deuteronomy is next. I read through the Book of Numbers, which is a really short book, just about a whole bunch of, about numbering the people. But Deuteronomy is we're like 30 pages away from the vow to Nazarite. And I probably was reading 4 chapters in the morning, 4 chapters at night. So it was a steady pace. Read 4 chapters in the morning, 4 chapters at night. But I was reading eight chapters a day. So I got there pretty quick. Man, when I got there and I saw that, that's when I pulled out of the game completely. I didn't just pull out on the vow to Nazarite because I hadn't read it yet. My instructions were read it, apply it to your life. Until I read it, I couldn't apply it. Once I read that, I knew then I unplugged from the turf. You know what I'm saying? I unplugged from the church. So when I first started the vow of Nazarite, I was still in the hood. You know what I'm saying? I was still smack dab in the hood, bro. Smack dab in it. But I had so much free time because all I had to do was make runs and get money. So instead of just running the streets, hanging out, man, trying to jank at some broad or some man, or get with some female or anything like that, man, I would take my spare time and I would read the word. And so and once I got to that part, I completely extracted myself, and I knew that in order for me to fight that demon, in order for me to fight the demon of making money like that, I knew I was gonna have to go always somewhere where I wasn't even plugged in there. So I went a long way away to where I wasn't even plugged in there, wasn't trying to get plugged in, and I just sat right there and did my thing. And I'm glad I did, man. I'm blessed. I'm blessed that the Most High saw fit to call me to do this. Man, he could have called anybody. It could have been anybody. There could be anybody sitting here saying, "Welcome to the King Ray Ray Show." Anybody. You know what I'm saying? There could have been anybody sitting here talking to you about the vow of Nazarite right now. Could have been anybody. But it's me. I got the blessing. I got the calling. I'm the one that God said, I want you to open the book and read it from cover to cover. So can't nobody take my joy or take my happiness from me, because it was given to me by the Most High just by being the chosen one. I ain't saying I'm the only chosen one, but I'm the chosen one. In my life, I'm the chosen one. And it's a steady road, man. Listen, it's not even the straight and narrow road, but it is a straight and steady road, and you got to be moving along it. You got to be moving along the road, man. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I look back on the time I spent in my life not moving along that road, going in the wrong direction, because here's the thing. If you're supposed to be going north, you don't have to be going south to be going in the wrong direction. If you go east, you're going in the wrong direction. If you go west, you're going in the wrong direction. If you're standing still, you're going in the wrong direction, because you're supposed to be moving north. It's about progress. You're supposed to be progressing, man. And so I'm going to be honest with you, man. When I look around and I see that I didn't even fit into the circles that I was in anymore, because I wasn't finna go drink with you, wasn't finna hang out with you. I already wasn't no club or anything like that. Wasn't finna do nothing with you. Wasn't finna go chase no chicks with you. Wasn't finna do none of that. Man, I cut everybody off cold turkey. Like, I'm here today, gone tomorrow. Because I was already in the habit of changing my life as I read. Once I read, I was like, I'm out. Can't do it no more. Literally, the day I read it, people were calling me. They couldn't even get to me. Actually, people were paging me, and I was calling them back. Said, "Nah, but I ain't just say, hey, don't call me no more, blah blah blah." I just said, "Nah, man, I'm out." People just got used to me just saying, "I'm out, I'm out, I'm out, man." Nah, man, I ain't straight. How they hit you? Hey, you straight, big dog? Nah, man, I'm out. Everybody else was on. It was a drought for me. And I wasn't gonna send you to nobody else either. I wasn't gonna plug you into nobody. After a while, people just know they couldn't get no work from me, and so they just moved on to other areas, man. And so it wasn't even hard for me, dog, at that point, because you got to think about it. I was already in the vow of Nazarite. Once I took the vow of Nazarite, man, people started looking at me crazy, man. Let me tell y'all something, brothers. People gonna talk about you. The negative naysayers they're gonna spread rumors about you. Let me tell you something, man. This is how fickle the mind of someone who's not connected to the Most High is. I stopped drinking, stop eating sugar and all of that, man. Stop eating meat. Man, I lost a ton of weight. I went from 225 to like 175. You know what I'm saying? But I was on the vow of Nazarite, so I didn't even have any clothes to fit me at 175. I was still wearing the same clothes. I was on the vow of Nazarite. And so word had spread, dog. Word had spread that now I must have been on that oot. Think about it. Nobody could get no work from me no more. And then months later, you see me, I lost all that weight. My clothes look too big because, here I am. Now, that don't look as bad as it sounds. It looked 50 pounds, but I'm still working out every day. You know what I'm saying? I was hitting it every day. So I was as swole as you could be at 175. So it ain't like I went from 225 and then just shrunk down to a stick. No, I mean, I was still yoked, but I was so lean. You know what I'm saying? I was all the way 225, man. I probably had about 15 pounds of fat on me. You know what I'm saying? I probably had maybe even more than that. That 225 had about 20 pounds of fat on me. So I was big. I was fat swole. But man, people, the word spread quick, man, that I was on that flavor, man. The word spread so quick that it was just etched in stone that, hey man, see man, that boy Dean a fiend. It started spreading, man, like Dean the fiend. And I was like, man, listen, I ain't even worried about pushing it or nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? People that were close to me to the one who were pushing it, man. You know, cause my brother knew where I was. And couple of times I rode out with him, man, just cause people hadn't seen me, man. So like, Granny hadn't seen me and all that, man. So I rode out with him a couple of times, man, and I could just hear the people whispering, man. But see, I didn't know how I looked. Think about this. It's been months since I shaved. It's been months since I got my hair twisted or anything. I ain't had no braids. I ain't had nothing. My hair was just matted up and locked. Then I had on the same clothes. I was hustling in the street, so every week I was in the mall. I was coming down in some dope every week. So to go from that to seeing me 6 months later, and I got on the same clothes you saw me in 6 months before, and I done lost a ton of weight and got lean. And people in the hood don't know nothing about getting lean or anything like that. You lost weight, you own some. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I did that, and then I just heard people whispering, man. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I wasn't tripping though. But I still did. Now, in retrospect, this is my first time thinking about that, saying, oh, I probably did look like something was wrong with me. You go from seeing me super clean all the time, man. You know what I'm saying? Cornrows all the way fresh, man. Draped up and dripped out, man. Coming through with my jewels on, with my tools and jewels, man. Pulling up in some fly, man, to falling through with my younger brother, man, with the same clothes on I used to have on, man. Don't look like I'd had that done to my head in 6 months, man. And my beard ain't been trimmed in 6 months. I probably did look like a fiend. You know what I mean? Now I can't even fault him for looking at me like a fiend. Cause I would have looked at somebody like that too, man. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, yeah, that boy that on that flavor. But the crazy thing is, when I came out the vow of Nazarite, I started back eating. I still didn't eat meat, but I wasn't intermittent fasting anymore. I was going to the campus, and here's the thing: I was hitting the iron every day. See, when I was on the vow of Nazarite, I was just doing calisthenics, push-ups, pull-ups, handstand pull-ups, all those type of things, man. I was doing walking lunges. I had a couple dumbbells. I was doing walking lunges, and one leg squats and all that, man. Bullet squats as they call them. And so, man, listen, boy, you man, you talking about technically flawless, man, posture and all of that. But when I hit that campus, I started hitting that iron, and I ain't know how strong I ain't, because I was small comparatively, but I ain't know how strong I was, man. I went in there. Listen, boy, I got yoked quick, and you know what the word was then? Now I was on roids. So listen, man, over a 3-year period, I done went from being on that flavor to being on the juice. You know what I'm saying? And I realized throughout that whole process, those are the two things that made me say, man, I don't care what people say. Because before that, yeah, I care. Why you think we go to the mall and ball like that, man, get all that fly stuff, man? Because we want to come down. At that point, when I realized, man, that all I had to do was lose some weight, and people thought I was on that flavor, then all I had to do was get yoked up. And then people say, oh, he went from the flavor, now he on the roids. Man, I stopped caring about what people, when I was 25 years old, man, I stopped caring what people say. I ain't never cared what nobody say since then. It don't matter who it is. You know what I'm saying? Because these people who were spreading the rumors, about being on the flavor, those people were close to me. Those are my relatives, man. And I was like, okay, cool. Is that how y'all feel? But and did it bother me? Yeah, it didn't really bother me to the point where I was like, man, I ought to do something to them. But I was like, you know what, man, I don't mess with these people no more. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't mess with none of them after that, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't just cut them off cold turkey, but man, it wasn't never how it was no more. You know what I'm saying? Because I realized, man, that I was above those people. They weren't on my level. Like, I realized how infinitesimal your mindset is, and everything you think is important is when you're in the hood. And I had elevated so far above that I was like, man, listen, it don't matter what you say. Like, look at your life. Look at what you do every day. Look at how you live every day. You have a dead end existence. Even the plug has a dead end existence, because it's going to end. It's going to run into a dead end. That dead end is either going to be a grave or a cave. And so I looked at everyone else in that environment the same way. I'm like, okay, so here I am coming off the vow of Nazarite. Man, I'm at a level that you probably would never see. And the animosity you bring it to me feels satanic. So I realized then that, man, if you're going to be on this mission, there's one thing I want to tell y'all. If you're going to choose to be on this mission and you're going to embrace the ways of God, and apply the word of God to your life and take the vow of Nazarite to become the person that you want to be spiritually, you're going to leave everybody behind. You're going to leave everybody behind. You know, listen, even my partners that I ended up taking the vow with, man, they couldn't stick with it. They fell back into the streets, man. Fell right back into it. So they end up drifting away too. But once you embrace the fact that you got to be on a different level, that's when you start to come into contact with people who are on that level. That's the first time I realized that in order for you to get to a level, but not the first time I realized, but the first time I took the spiritual application of it and applied it to the physical world. I already knew that God wanted you to separate, divide the Nazarite, separate yourself to God, but I never thought about separating from the people on a level completely. So you can connect with people on the next level. Because here's the thing, you can connect with who you want to connect with. But the people on that next level, God is not going to let you bring no people from that low level, those low vibrational people to this high vibrational environment. If you got to take your foot, you can't have one foot in the low vibration environment or one foot in the high vibration environment. You got to make a choice. Either you're going to be over there or you're going to be over here. And if you got one foot in over here and one foot over here, you're going to be stuck over there. You ain't going to be able to go over here. You can stay over there. But if you want to connect with the next level, you got to cut that level loose. Let me tell y'all something. 2 things you can't do, homie, and I'm going to keep it a buck with you. You can't go in the mall. You can't go in a 2-level mall and simultaneously buy some out of 2 different stores, one on the bottom floor and one on the second floor. You can't do it. I'm talking about physically. Physically, you can't buy something out of Foot Locker down here and then buy something out of Champ Sports on the next level at the same time. You got to do one and then go do the other. You got to decide how you going to do that. And you know something else you can't do? You can't jump up to that level. You can't jump down there. You can jump down there, but it ain't going to go the way you want it to go. You got to make progress and move yourself up to the next level. Because the next level is just far enough away where you can't reach that level down there. See, it's possible you could be on the second floor at the mall and jump down. It's possible that you will live, but something's going to be broke up. It's too far away to safely play on the second level and the first level at the same time. That's the best analogy I can give you. You cannot safely be on the next level and then still be attached to that level. You can't reach it. You understand? You have to totally go away from the first floor in order to get to the second floor. And that's the main thing, man. You have to, it's a crazy world where you can't become the best version of yourself without alienating people who will rather see you as the worst version of yourself. And so that's why you have to surround yourself with people who have already become the best version of themselves. You have to, man. It's a different ball game. If you don't do it, then, it's not going to be the way it's supposed to be. You have to establish yourself as a godly man, not in the eyes of the world, but in the eyes of God. God has to respect that you're going to be the godly man you're supposed to be. And if you notice, let's look at this again. What did it say? Because we're not going to look past this. I want y'all to look at this and tell me what it says. It says, when a man or a woman, not just a man or a woman. So it ain't just for you and me to separate ourselves. A woman can separate herself too. So all this talk about, a woman can't be this and she can't be that and she can't be righteous and she can't do that. Numbers chapter 6, verse 1 and 2. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when either a man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite, to separate themselves unto the Lord, shall separate himself from wine and strong drink, and shall drink no vinegar of wine or vinegar of strong drink, neither shall drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat any moist grapes or dried. If a man or a woman. So we don't buy into this whole thing that a woman can't be spiritual. She can be spiritual. It's just hard to meet. Hey, you can't meet many spiritual men. I want you to think about that. How many absolutely spiritual men do you meet? I'm talking about men who are spiritual, who live their lives every day to be the best spiritual version of themselves, not the best physical version. If you're the best spiritual version of yourself, you automatically become the best physical version of yourself because you're connected to the ways of the Most High. You're connected to the Word. So when I say, I got partners right now, man. I'm talking about super lean, eat pork for breakfast every day. But they think that, I won't say partners, but I know people. I know people who they super lean, but they eat pork for breakfast every day because they're more concerned with the physical world than the spiritual world. You understand what I'm saying? I know some absolutely gorgeous women, beautiful women, beautiful women. Favorite food to eat is seafood, but they're more concerned about the physical than the spiritual. We're not. Yes, are we concerned about the physical? Of course, man. We want to look good. We want to look phenomenal. But more than that, we want to make sure that our spiritual astuteness is on the level of acuteness that we need to have it on. Because it's our duty to honor the Most High, man, for giving us this word, for giving us these words of wisdom, for giving us, this law to govern our lives, for giving us this opportunity to receive the manifold blessings that He has for us, man, for giving us this the vision and the respect as men to be able to do these things and rely on us to be the men that we're supposed to be, and rely on us to take the vow of Nazarite, rely on us to honor the Sabbath, rely on us to do the things in this word that we can do, and not let nobody tell us, well, you ain't doing that right there. Okay, you right, I ain't doing that, but I'm doing this and this and this and this and this and this. You understand what I'm saying? I don't answer to man. I answer to God. And the one thing that I know about God, the one thing that I know is that God let me be Dean. He let me be Ray Ray. He let me be BOA. And He accepts me and promotes me and blesses me in those realms. And I'm going to tell you like this. I ain't going to never, ever, ever let nobody tell me that my relationship with the Most High ain't worth putting above my relationship with people, my relationship with the world, my relationship with money, my relationship with myself. Ain't nobody going to ever tell me that. And therein lies, man, the discussion of the vow of Nazarite, man. I know I told y'all I was going to do it, man. So I'm glad y'all came through, man. I'm glad I was able to, provide, a little bit of insight. It's not really a long chapter or any of that, man. It just shows you that how serious it is to separate yourself. And notice now, what are we separating ourselves to? We got to remember what we're separating ourselves to. We're separating ourselves to something specific. We're separating ourselves to the Lord, separating ourselves unto the Lord. That's it. We're in order to separate, in order to become one with God, in order to create the proper relationship with God, you got to separate yourself from people. You have to do it. You have to do it, which is why I don't try to go to church to find God. That ain't what He told me to do right here. He told me if I take a vow to Nazarite, I separate myself unto the Lord. He ain't tell me that I got to go, do nothing else. He told me separate myself unto the Lord. So I separate myself unto the Lord. That's what I did. I'm not finna go, listen, bro, people can do what they want to do. If that's what you want to do, fine. If that's where you think your God is, fine. My God ain't in there. I've been dealing with my God for years, and I ain't been in no church to find Him nowhere. I ain't go to no church when I took the vow to Nazarite. It ain't no pastor at no church told me to take the vow to Nazarite. You know what the pastor at church would told me? Hey, man, you ain't bound by that law. You ain't got to take the vow to Nazarite no more. I ain't listening to nobody tell me that because I know what I'm supposed to do, and I did it. And God has blessed me for it. So why would I go any other direction except for the direction I'm already in, brothers? Help me understand it. Somebody, please help me understand it. There's nothing to understand. So everybody can do what they want to do. But my relationship with God is based on the vow of the Nazarite. And if you tell me that your relationship with God is based on the vow of the Nazarite, guess what? We view it the same way. If you didn't take the vow to Nazarite, I could care less what you think about God, spirituality, religion, any of that, because you don't know nothing. Because the one thing you ain't did is separated yourself. Separated yourself unto the Lord. And when you talk about separation, boy, what I just described to y'all is a separation. And I know some of my brothers in here separated themselves as well. So whenever they say to you, you don't know this, and you don't know that, and you don't know God, and you don't know about the word, you don't know, hey man, listen, you can know all you want to about the Bible. Because all it takes is you reading it over and over again, memorizing it, studying it. I study it too, but I don't study it to remember it so I can spew it out at you. If you notice, when I tell you something is in the Bible, man, I never tell you. Sometimes I be looking right at it in front of me. But now if I'm doing like, a lecture like this on something specific, that's different. But sometimes, man, I'll quote a scripture in the Bible, maybe right in front of me. I'm not finna tell you the chapter and the verse. That ain't my job. I'm gonna tell you it's in there. Google it. It'll tell you what chapter and verse it is. I ain't finna take all the work out of it for you. But if I tell you it's in there, it's in there. All you gotta do is Google what I just said. Google it, and it'll point you right to it. That's just the reality of it, man. Because I don't want anybody to think that I think I'm some hot shot because I can spew. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 19 says. And John chapter 15, verse 8 says. Man, that ain't nothing but a bunch of showboating. And that ain't what I'm here for. I'm here to let you know one thing, man. Ain't nothing in the world like the goodness of the Most High. And the only way to really get to know him is to separate yourself unto the Lord. Hopefully this has been beneficial to you, men. I hope all you guys who requested it, man, I hope it has been fulfilling enough for you. And y'all continue to request things in the comments, man, and let me know, man, what y'all vibing with. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a huge book, man. It's a huge book. So I want y'all to, put some requests in, man. Let me know what y'all vibing with. And I will see y'all again, man, on the King Ray Ray Show tomorrow. I told y'all we about to get physical with the King Ray Ray Show, didn't it, man? I told y'all, listen, man, I got a 20,000 strong congregation over here. The King Ray Ray Mega Church. The Mega Temple is what we call it. And I want y'all to always know, man, I'm dedicated to my mission that God has put me here for. And the King Ray Ray Show is my way of sharing that mission with you. So tell everybody you know, man, who trying to get their life together, who want to find some direction, man, send them this way. Tell them to come this way. There's always room for them. You understand? We're trying to make this the biggest congregation in the nation. And then we spread to all nations. Why? Because everybody should know about the benefits of building a true and honest relationship with the Most High. Famo, salute. Welcome to the Kingdom of Ray, man. Got some new sweatshirts coming out, man, on the Kingdom, man. They'll start showing up on the product shelf, man, under the videos, man. Y'all go ahead and do it, man. Certified man of God, certified woman of God, man. Y'all look out for them, man. And listen, we're going to go ahead and slide, man. I appreciate y'all being in the joint. Let's get ready to roll, man. Y'all put God first. Keep grinding and growing. And leave the kingdom today always knowing. When the goodness of God is on you and he shine that light on you, man, you always glowing. Peace.